Hello, everybody. Welcome to Positive Waves. My name is Matthew Collinson.
I'm Joseph Somma.
So this episode first is brought to you by Purple Punch is my flavor of the week. And what was your flavor, Joe?
A good old-fashioned Girl Scout cookie, an oldie but goodie.
Nice. Yeah, I was talking to my wife yesterday when we were outside, and I was like, man, feels like I just got purple punched, because it totally like kind of knocks you one. You're like, oh, cool, that feels good.
That creeper stuff that hits you later.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blast, man. So today we're going to talk about expectations for yourself, expectations for others around you, because I think it's an important subject as we grow. So what has been your experience? Let's start with the self, I guess. What are your expectations for yourself, and how do you hold yourself up to those expectations?
Well, when I view expectations towards myself, it's holding myself accountable. You know, if I make a list of stuff that not just a to-do list, things that need to be done, but if I make a list, these are the things that I want to have done before I go to bed tonight, I expect myself to stay on somewhat of a task and get those things done. I mean, granted, it's not a lot. It's like, okay, I've got to do these 3 or 4 things. So it's not like it's all day project. Well, I guess sometimes it could be, but for the most part, daily activities, it's just, hey, I got to have this done. I got to have that done. Got to do this before I go to bed. If I get that done, it's a great day.
So you like to kind of make it easy for you.
Somewhat, yeah, it helps me stay on track. I mean, I've got that to-do list like everybody has, where it's just, hey, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be handled, this needs to be done, that needs to be cleaned up, that needs to be like, that list just never ends. So if I was to hold expectations on that list, I would drive myself absolutely insane. But yeah, to keep myself on task with what I need to do on a daily, holding those expectations for myself, I don't see much of a problem with. I mean, I think some people could. I think some people could just say, hey, you shouldn't hold expectations whatsoever, which, yeah, I kind of agree with, but it helps me stay on task with the things that I, like I said, want to get done, want to have done.
Yeah. I think part of it is like, for me, it's pretty easy, like success, as it were. I wake up in the morning, I take a breath, and I'm like, cool, I get to be here another day. That's done. Like that's all I need for my day to be like great.
Right.
Just like I'm alive again. I get to play, I get to have some fun, whatever it is that I'm choosing to do with myself. But I find that a lot of people don't choose what they want to be doing for themselves. They choose what they feel they have to be doing, and that can be a hard expectation on yourself, I feel. Like that, I know we all have to provide and we all have to do that stuff, but especially nowadays, I feel like you can shift towards something you enjoy doing as opposed to being stuck. Like getting stuck is it just destroys people, man. Like you see, I mean, like they're not turned on at all. Like their switch isn't there. Like it's gone.
Right.
And I think that as we grow together and as we all are, growing into these different personas that we are growing into, I guess I put an expectation on myself that is, people are where they are. And so I want to support and raise everybody up that I meet. So if I'm going to do that, I do that out of kindness. I do that out of just kind of being okay with where a person is. And then if I can support them and raise them up somehow, I do. But I'm also very patient and don't put any expectations on whatever that growth is for them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's like those random acts of kindness. You should do those without expectations. If you expect something in return, obviously you're not doing it out of kindness. You're doing it out of desire for some type of reward or return, and that's a little more towards the selfishness of a situation. So yeah, like meeting people on random, you just want to lift them up. You want to help them rise to whatever they're trying to get to, and you hold no expectations to it. And it's a beautiful process just to want to see people succeed.
Yeah, the danger side of that, and which I have run into, and I've had mentors talk to me about this, but it's like then you can't necessarily, like, if you have no expectations and you have no, how do you put it, way to really kind of take care of yourself while you're taking care of others. I guess monetized it in this case, it'll have to be a worldwide thing. So, how do you make a living, right? You have to make a living somehow, some way, whether it's whatever it is you're doing. I mean, I've gone from car washer, I've done warehouse work, I've done all kinds of things, delivery driving. It's a blast. Now that I found more my purpose and passion, I'm doing other things to create more of an effect around the world. But I feel like it's taken a lot of time. And I guess that, where does expectations fall into that though? Hmm.
Well, like you, I've done, I can't even tell you how many different trades, skilled trades, odd jobs, random work, and most of the time, yeah, it was just because I had that obviously desire for money, but I had those expectations. I had to pay these bills. I had to, pay that car insurance or uh cell phone bill back in the day, pager bill. But yeah, it's well, I'm like in a relationship. It's not really an expectation, it's an agreement. You two sit down, this is what I can bring to the table, this is what you can bring together, we can create this. If you start holding expectations, things are going to start to like crumble and crash because you're telling a person this is what you must do. But in that relationship, you would, if you're in a good relationship, I guess you would be there to help support and pick up the slack or something like that. So losing my train of thought.
That's okay, man. I'm right with you. But I wonder if, like, I agree with you, and I get exactly where you're going there. Especially in a close relationship, and that like fundamental place when you really love somebody, you just want to raise and support them up. So, how do like, I know that I have fallen out of my own expectations, and yet I expect nothing of my partner at all. Like, I really don't. Like, but she does her own stuff on her own. Like, I don't have to put my nose into that. Now I do have to state what my needs are and what I feel like I need, because I think that's like just that's a way to communicate with your partner about things. Like, well, I need to be hugged, for instance. Like, I like hugs. Like, my wife knows this. So she'll give me a hug sometimes. Do I expect it? No, but I enjoy it.
Right. It's like those gifts. Like, hey, this, throw a little extra loving at me here and there. Walk past me or something in the hallway, just throw an arm around me, give me a hug. That it's just a great gift and it's not expected, so it's cherished even more.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes that's why I ran into problems, I think, with in my last major relationship. And that was I was a non-communicative person. Like, I didn't communicate at all. Now I'm a way over communicator because I took the lesson and ran with it.
Well, I mean, to be a good communicator, you also have to listen as well as speak that vulnerable truth. And sometimes that can be tough. And being hurt in the past, we expect others to repeat that pattern for us. So there's another way expectations can fall into things.
Well, I think that's where we can make it easier if we actually set like times to where, hey, let's have an open and honest conversation, or it happens on dates sometimes, or other things like let's just connect and talk or listen, talk and listen both. As it's normally a two-way street there. Like there's always two perspectives, and entire
Mhm.
perspectives can come together and grow together. That I find very interesting, especially since I've been with Sarah, like my wife, and she and I have grown together and gone through lots of trials, lots of things, and it's so easy though. Like I keep hearing people say, especially since 2020, how hard it is to be in the same place as their significant other, how difficult it is. And to me, that's just sad. Like I love
Right.
my wife so much. Like I love hanging out with her.
Right. Well, it lets you know that there needs to be better communication, or there needs to be a trigger that can be healed or worked through. If you can't be alone in silence with your partner and just talk about whatever and be as happy as possible, there's some type of blockage there. There's something that should be addressed. And if one or the other or both don't want to talk about it or work through it, what's the point of even being together?
Yeah, I think that's where it's important for us to uh, kind of expect ourselves to be the voice when that stuff is occurring in our life, because no one else can help you fix that. Like you have to fix it yourself. And the only way to I hate saying fix because it's not like anything's broken kind of thing. Like, because humans aren't really broken. None of them are. No one is, I feel. Everyone's a perfect energetic being. It's just a matter of how their energy is flowing right at the moment that they
Right.
are in that certain state. And to me, that's just like giving it ultimate love and just like embracing it, regardless of what the energy is to me. Like I said, there are some people that are really like hyped, ready to go. We know a couple people like that. Then there are some people that are just like just getting started with this stuff, and they're like completely lost in the
Right.
personal development world, as it were, because it's such a big world and there's so much to do. And going through yourself and like going through your shadow side, going through your dark side, going through the bad habits, the good habits, trying to get yourself aligned with where you really want to be.
Right.
Like
Creating those new
it
routines.
seems overwhelming, but to me, it's still just a step at a time. And that's all I've ever taken it.
Hmm. And
Like I
some
didn't
people
know what
want to
to
rush that.
expect, kind of.
Yeah, and some people want to rush the process. They don't think they're going fast enough. And when I see that, it makes me wonder, have you really truly dug deep into that shadow and resolved, healed, or moved forward or processed whatever that pain was to actually be ready to jump? I mean, there's been times in my process where I've totally felt ready to jump, and it's like I feel like I'm energetically making that jump, but I'm stuck to flypaper. Like I just can't move. I can't go. I can't proceed forward. And it was like a few months before I worked through more in depth into what I was dealing with at the time, because I thought I'd processed it. I thought I was ready to move forward, and apparently I wasn't. So yeah, it's kind of strange how you think you're ready to jump, but subconsciously you're like, nope, not ready yet. Sit your ass down, boy.
It took me like over a decade to get to that point. Like seriously, no joke. Like I've been studying personal development since my mid 20s. So really before that, I got like some of those infomercial things, and a lot of times those include like some personal development stuff within them. And that was when I was 15. So 25 years then. But my dad was never happy to order those things for me, but I always paid for them. So
Right on. Yeah, no, I don't have those experiences. I don't even think I know the infomercials you're talking about.
oh man, which ones were they? There's like
It's all right, man.
it's okay. I can't even remember. Like it's kind of sad because some of those guys like kind of didn't do too well for themselves. Someone
Right.
really good, like Dean Graziosi is one of those infomercial dudes.
Well,
So
it
now
just
it's
shows
not
you
so
got to do the
much.
work. You got to practice what you preach. You can't go tell people to heal themselves while you sit back and do absolutely nothing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do the work, do the fucking work.
That's
Don't
right.
half-ass it.
That's an expectation, isn't it?
True.
I know, it's amazing how fast we jump right into it, though. And we all do it to ourselves. So no one's alone here, by the way. We're all on the
Mhm.
same journey. We really are.
Right. Gotta love it. Oh, it's yeah. I want to say I probably was more around 2012 or so when I started my growth or process. I had no clue what it was then, and I just knew that I didn't want to be what I was and where I was at. So I held that expectation to get my ass up, to get moving, to not be where I was yesterday, to keep moving forward. And it that process alone took many years for sure. Um, I know I met my first mentor like 3 years ago now, and that really fast tracked me to where I am today. Like I was on a plateau. I was just stuck on one level. I wasn't figuring out how to move up, doing all the free YouTube stuff and all the free readings and free calls and classes and all that. And I got stuck. But yeah, my first mentor, yeah, didn't hold any expectations. It was just like, see how this goes. Absolutely fantastic. We really connected well, and she was definitely a gifted individual.
All
So
right. So how about expectations towards our mentors? What kind of expectations do we hold towards that relationship?
um, I have had a mentor or two where they promised all sorts of stuff, and I kind of yeah, no, I can't say kind of. I did hold that expectation of okay, this is what you said you would deliver it, and in some cases it was delivered, but not as I expected as well. So it was one of those realizations that even though they told me what I was going to get, and I had this vision in my head, that wasn't what I got. So that was a little bit of a mind fuck, to be honest with you. But it was amazing realizations as well. Like it just helps you see, like, hey, there's 8 billion people or so on the planet right now. That's 8 billion different perspectives. So holding that expectations was like a kick in the ass. Like you shouldn't have done that. You should have just accepted what was, being presented. And if you wanted to proceed, proceed. And I mean, I did proceed anyways, and I did get overall what was expected, but it wasn't the delivery that I had expected.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's more of an expectation of yourself on doing the process.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
I don't know if I see this is what the struggle is for me, and not in a bad way or anything. I love growing, so it's fun to kind of run up against little things, but like I don't know that I have expectations of my mentors either, and I don't want to kind of thing. I want to try to grow with them as they're going and
Right.
figure out where they're at and then kind of meet them where they're at as well. So it's kind of works both ways for me. Is like I feel like releasing expectation is a huge, huge step towards growth.
Yeah, that and judgment. Like if you can release
Judgment, yeah.
expectations and judgments, you're on a fast track to like that high vibration.
I feel like that, like, because to me, it's not hard for me to say, like, I let people grow how they want to grow. So, regardless of how fast or how slow that is, I just let people be themselves. Mentees, mentors, friends, family, and like my close people, like my wife.
Mhm.
Like, I really like for you, I mean, you show up, you do things, you're working on like the positive waves group right now. You've been doing a lot of scheduled posts there, which is really cool. And I love seeing that. Did I expect it? Not at all. But I invited you to also do it. I was like, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. And so you did it. But
Well,
but
teamwork,
that had nothing to do with me, right? There was no expectation there.
right?
It's
That I think that was a little more expectations towards myself. Like you're already setting up this and getting that going, doing a little bit of video editing. I was like, I got to do something. I felt that I myself was expected to contribute because you were a team. You
pressure.
can't do it all yourself. It's like that relationship. You got to communicate. You got to listen, speak. Your thoughts and feels, and work together as a team. putting all the work on one person isn't a teamwork. That's more of like what, dictatorship? I don't
I
know.
don't know, man. I just choose, like, ever since we've been a part of the community we're a part of, I really have felt like I let people do what they want to do. And I try to find a way that I can do that with them, because that's the point of collaboration, is finding a way to do something in harmony. So you have to back up whatever a person's idea is and yet follow. I think the expectation comes with following through, I guess. Like, if you weren't showing up for any of the meetings, then I'd just be like, oh, I guess we're not doing it, at some point.
Right. Right. Hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. Obviously, they're not interested. I mean, you expected them to be there if they were, right?
Right. It's
So,
like I like the assignment idea. Like, you give people assignments, and if they do it, great. And if they don't hold it against them. It's just not right for them right then.
right.
And that's the releasing of expectation again.
Right. And that's something that I've been practicing, just accepting the person as they present themselves in that moment. I mean, one moment they may be, like our card says today, a shit show, and the next moment they may be like the greatest thing that ever happened to you. It's like we all are going through shit. We all have good moments and bad moments. So not holding that expectation that, hey, they were a dick this day, they're going to be a dick tomorrow too. That may be, that may not be, but you throw that vibration out there, chances are they will be.
Yeah, I agree. That reminds me, my wife got a wellness deck.
A wellness what?
A wellness deck of cards.
Oh, nice.
So I'll have you pull your card, and then I'll pull one of those cards for funsies.
Actually, I just pulled it a moment ago. I started shoveling with the thought of expectations in my mind, and the Rebel deck dropped this card. The one side says, "You look like a shit show. You're a hot mess. Fact. Clean yourself up."
That's great for this. That is awesome.
Focus.
Yeah, it's all good.
Sort of focus. Yeah.
All right. I randomly shuffled it last night, so I'll do it again this morning, and then I'll grab one.
Yeah, whatever jumps out.
Yep. All right. Set boundaries. When was the last time you set a boundary? Take an assertive position, like limiting communication with someone, can help you protect your emotional energy. State your position neutrally and without judgment, but stand your ground.
No.
That was a good one.
Didn't we talk about boundaries, or were we talking?
We did. That was the other week. So
yeah.
Go watch the boundaries episode, guys.
Yeah, the boundaries are definitely good to keep, and that's more expectations for yourself. You expect to hold this boundary, keep yourself protected from whatever you don't want to let in.
What would it look like if we set boundaries and had no expectations? That'd be weird. I don't think that works. My wife's looking at me weird, so.
Well, I mean, if the whole world just became a little kinder and a little less, selfish, or, whatever word pops in your mind at that moment, how great would the world be? Would we need boundaries if everybody was a little more kind, a little more caring, a little more loving?
It's the me to the we to the us to the me. It's amazing how that works.
Right.
It's weird, but it's so funny. I just feel like this was an interesting topic today, so I'm not as excited about it as I thought I was going to be, but that's because I was facing some demons, I think.
This is one of those ones where you got to sleep on and let a few things come to the surface, because it feels like there's a lot more that can be discussed on it, but it's not popping.
No, I know. I'd like to hear what our audience has to say. What kind of expectations do you put on yourself and others is the question. And with that, without further ado, let us go on our way. Have a positive wave kind of week. Sending those positive vibes. I'm Matthew Collinson.
I'm Joseph Somma.
Have a great week.